Hello, I am ROW2501 or ROW2501. You will also see my name as Rowan2501 on various other social media. All the same thing, all the same person. That's me. What I'm here today to do is to give a helpful tips on how to survive 7 Days to Die in the early game if you're just now starting off or if you're starting in the new patch. Last week, this game was given another major patch, which changed many of the aspects of the game, added a whole bunch of new stuff, basically just changed things up and made it different. It's, in my opinion, it's a whole different game. So every time the game has gone through a new patch like this, I basically just start a whole new character and see what fun I can get into. I've had this game for a little more than a year, so I've been through a lot of the major patches, and I was even in the game in the early beginning when it was quite broken, and now it's been patched and fixed and quite awesome. These are just the tips or the things that I found that make it easiest to survive in the early game up until the first, basically, Horde March, or the first 7 days. The game's called 7 Days to Die for a reason. That's because on the 7th night, a literal zombie horde will make a beeline straight for you. Doesn't matter if you're being quiet or noisy or whatever, they're coming for you in 7 days. These are just tips on how to survive the first 6 days up till then, and then maybe what to do afterwards. Totally just suggestions. Definitely don't have to do any of the stuff in the way I do it. This is just, like I said, how I've made it easy for me to get along in the early game. So as you can see, I'm basically crouch walking everywhere. And the reason I'm crouch walking everywhere is because if you'll look in the middle of the screen, how it says undetected and there's an eye. If there's any zombies, zombie dogs, or anything like that near you, you'll know. The eye will open up ever so slightly if you're near a zombie or if one thinks you're close by. It will open fully and say hunted if one sees you and is making a beeline for you. And so I spend much of the early game walking around like this. I even spend a good portion of the rest of the game, even when I'm leveled and I've got good equipment, armor, and all that stuff. I still do this because there is a survival aspect of this game. If you are new, there's a very, very detailed survival aspect of this game. You have to watch your food, your water. You can take bleeding effects. You can be poisoned, break legs, all kinds of stuff. So even in the later games, don't really want to get poisoned or have a bleeding effect, because as odd as it may sound, you may not have cloth on you to make a bandage right away. And, having a bandage on you can literally save your life. So I crouch walk everywhere, especially in the early game, but In the later game, I do it just to make sure that I'm not going to get whacked and take a bleeding effect for no reason. A first aid will stop bleeding, any bleeding effect. But those things are kind of sparse in the beginning, so you don't really want to be using those up for bleeding effects. I will show you what to farm so you can get cloth in the early game so that you can heal any bleeding effects that may take place in the early game. So real quick, what we're doing is just we're harvesting and gathering just some of the stuff that it says to do. In the top right hand corner, it's got 8 quests for your early survival that kind of teach you the basic mechanics of the game. I'll go over those briefly as I'm going along. Bedroll, the thing that I just made and placed, basically that's your spawn point. You can literally put them anywhere, and one down, you can use that until it's destroyed, until you pick it up. So unlike other games, it's not a one-time use thing. It's there till you're done with it, or till it's destroyed. In this early point of the game, I'm kind of just going to throw it down when I think I'm going to die, or if I'm running into a place where there's a lot of danger. Something else to be very aware of, the survival aspect of the game, is the items that you use to harvest materials. They have durability, and that durability goes down very quickly in the early game. As you get further in the later game, you level up your ability to keep the durability from going down so quickly using various perks and abilities that you have throughout the game. Pretty much any little thing you do in this game levels something. If you run, you level something called athletics that basically helps you use less stamina as you move throughout the game. When you mine stuff or you harvest things, you level a perk literally called mining. You level just by doing stuff. When you craft something, if you craft arrows, for instance, you level your weapon crafting. If you make cloth bits out of cotton plants, then you level your tailoring. If you make armor, you level your armoring. So on and so forth. Every little thing does something. Even when you eat, it levels something. So yeah. So pretty much we're in this, what I like to call the apocalypse biome. Here on the map, tiny little square, whole rest of the map is fog of war, so to speak. Having played this game a ton, I pretty much know where we are, and we'll get a better bearing here in just a bit as we move. But for now, since it seems relatively quiet here, I'm just gathering materials. And as you can see, the level 2, it's already breaking down. You can either repair it, which levels another skill, or you can just toss it and make a new one. It's up to you what you do. I mean, if you repair it, it stays at level 2. If you make a new one, you get a higher level one with more durability. So in the beginning, I always toss them. You can repair it just to get your repair skill up, and then toss it because the new one you make will have more durability and last longer. Just a suggestion. Definitely not something you have to do. decent amount of wood. Go back to these rocks. So what I'm mining when I hit the stone is basically I'm getting chunks of rock and iron ore. The iron ore you can eventually put into a forge, and then you can make forged iron, which you need for various iron items. But for now, what we're trying to do is just make enough scrap iron so we can make a decent melee weapon. Because it's going to come in handy, trust me. All right, let's see how much we get. So the item, you can scrap almost anything in this game. It's up to you what you scrap. But for me, I needed 100. So we could make this reinforced club. And if you'll see what I'm doing when I click on an item, it gives me the ability to put it into a favorite so that when we shut down the menu, it gives us just the stuff we need instead of giving us this giant menu. So for now, we're going to make one of these things. Get a little more ore, a little more stone. I've changed and manipulated a bunch of the options in this to make it easier for me to do these little videos. You can put your options how you see fit or how you like. But for now, I just have the options set a very specific way, which we can go over later on down the road. Parrot. And we don't have materials to make a new one, so we need grass. Or fiber. If you've played Ark Survival Evolved and you're just new to this game, a lot of this will seem familiar to you. It has a lot of similar survival aspects, in my opinion. Of which you should be, quite at home with, many of them. Okay, we've got a decent amount of stone. We've got a little more ore. All right, time to move on to... Now, this is normally where I put my base in the beginning. You definitely don't have to. You can put one down literally wherever you like. You can make your own if you wish. I just like to head for this particular area because it's a 2-story house. There's an attic. It's easily defendable. The zombies don't usually notice me building stuff or forging things because the zombies are attracted to heat. So if you have a forge and a campfire going, you stick out like a sore thumb to zombies. So being in an upstairs helps zombie detection for the most part. They'll still kind of see you or notice you because of the noise and the heat, but every little bit helps. The other major reason that I go for this particular area is because literally. And that hospital is a gold mine for consumables that will keep you alive, both food and water. You can get a lot of medicines and stuff like that for if you get poisoned, bandages, healing items, you name it. It's a, for lack of a better term, it's a smorgasbord of stuff, especially for survival. If you've never heard that word before, look it up. It means a lot. So the other thing you see me doing right now is I am picking a cotton plant. The reason I'm going after this plant is because every 2 of these makes a cloth fragment. Cloth fragments can be used for bandages and cloth armor, which insulate you from cold and heat and give you minor protection from damage. Not a whole lot, but again, better than nothing. Takes 2 of these plants to make 1 cloth fragment. Need about, oh, there's a zombie. Need about 40, maybe 50 cloth fragments to complete the cloth armor set that you would want for protection. Normally I don't attack or go after zombies this early in the game, but I am trying to show you the difference between this awesome reinforced club versus just a regular wooden club, which would take forever to down one of these things. Since I got one of these this early in the game, definitely helps. You definitely want to stay away from them. If they hit you, bleeding effects and poison. You've only got 1 healing item on you. We fortunately dispatched them quickly. Moving on. Loot. Plenty of time, plenty of daylight, so to speak. You can continue your crouch walking. Stay safe as you're looting. Okay, this is what I like to call nature's treasure chest. It's a tree stump. You can loot these things. Usually there's all kinds of good stuff in them. Like for instance, right now, just got honey. Honey will both cover hunger and dehydration or water. So you can 2 birds with 1 stone. You can loot that honey just randomly throughout various places. We'll probably get some out of the hospital when we go there. The only other place that I know to really get honey is eventually you'll come across these giant bees. So yes, giant zombie bees are one of the enemies in this game. When you down them and you search their body, you have the chance to get like honeycombs off of them, and the honeycombs do the same thing. Cure your food and hunger, or cure your food and water. After we loot these bits, we'll see how much cloth we got. Make sure we're safe. We almost have enough cloth for now. Get some grass. Not that kind of grass, no, grass. Something I didn't mention earlier, and I do apologize. Oh, look, we're hunted. See why we're crouching? Now we know we're being hunted. The problem is we don't know from where. Oh, there she is. Let's see if we can brain her. Down she goes. Didn't have much on them. Oh, look, we got pants. That'll definitely help. And there we go. This iron pipe will come in quite handy later. So something else we need to keep an eye out for, since we're in this particular biome, we're going to come up to shortly. There are birds' nests strewn all over the place. Those are important because we need feathers for arrows, and if we get lucky, there will be an egg or two in them. It's random what you get, so the eggs you can later, when you have a cooking pot and boiled water, you can make boiled eggs. Personally, I like to save all of the, I like to save as many of the eggs as I can, because if you combine, I believe it's 2 eggs for 1 piece of meat, you can make bacon and eggs, and that's like one of the better foods you can have in this game, because it fills up your hunger quite a bit. But the other thing it does, it gives you wellness. When you raise your wellness, you raise your stamina and your health. So you always want to be eating stuff to keep your, to 1, keep your health just up in general, and 2, so you can raise your wellness to gain more stamina and health. As you die, you will lose 10 stamina and 10 health, but you can gain it back through wellness and eating a bunch of stuff. It takes a bit, but it can be done. Basically, I'm hitting this again because I want more scrap, because we're about to make arrows, which is going to up our weapon crafting skill. And then we're going to need to make another, club after that. So for now, we're going to loot some of this cloth. And we're going to start the process of making it. So if you're looking at the menu, this little star basically makes it so that just your favorites pop up. All the other stuff you may not need or want in the menu. We're going to need that because that's what we got the cotton for. Basically, you just click on any item you want or that you think you may need over and over again, and just mark it as a favorite. Personal preference. I just know the ones I need from having played a bunch. You'll eventually figure out which ones you want. Now that we hit the star, we only got the stuff we want. In the crafting menu, you can either make it, however many you want. You can click to make a certain amount, or you can click the fast forward button to make the maximum. We're going for the max. Need to drink. See, our food's down to 72. We need to eat. That was a good boost. Okay, we should have more bottle of water. Yes, we do. Oh, we need to do that. Come back here, water. Okay, I picked it up. Random pile of trash, loot it. Always loot those in the early game. Maybe not so important right now. Again, every little bit helps. Okay, so we're going to make another one of these because we've made a bunch of arrows. Recycle the one we got. And I believe we will call it quits for this particular, for now. Just remember, helpful little bits. Crouching will keep you safe, or safe enough. Looting, or not looting, but harvesting cloth or harvesting cotton will get you cloth. Strike these rocks as often as you can. You get iron ore. You can make one of those reinforced clubs fairly quickly. Repair the stone axe if you want to, but be sure to make a new one because the new one will have durability. If you're going to attack a zombie, hit it in the head like I was doing, and then hit it while it's on the ground. Kill it faster. Be sure to harvest tree stumps when you see them. Harvest any kind of trash or car or anything you see along the way. Zombie dogs are super dangerous. Didn't say that earlier. Eat and drink as often as you can. And we'll continue the next little bits, and we'll continue going towards where I like to put home base in the beginning. Thank you for watching, and hope these tips helped a tiny bit, and we'll do some more in here in just a bit. Thank you for watching.